Do I look fat from this angle?
It's your hat makes you fat. See what hat I wore? Like you see with the stickers on there, it's like a shrine.
All hail Alan Hayne.
It's like a shrine to Alan.
Well, today's a special day today. What's going on, everybody? We've got a couple errands that we're going to run today, one of which is picking up yet another lawnmower for my fleet, I guess. I've always wanted to try manual reel mowing, and so I found one for cheap on Facebook Marketplace that I'm going to go pick up. And then we're going to go visit a special person's house, another lawn care content creator, another grass enthusiast, and hang out and spend the day with them, get to know them, and hopefully have some fun. All right. Leg one of the journey is done. I picked up a basically brand new Sunjo reel mower with a grass catcher. Looks like it's in great condition from a guy on Facebook Marketplace for $15. So now I have a reel mower. Now I can get into reel mowing if I want to. So let's go ahead and head over to our friend's house, and it's going to be quite a bit of a longer drive, but stay tuned. How long has it been since you saw a Murray's Auto Parts? Holy smokes. Is this the GIE? Okay, where are my parks? Can I check my code at least? I know you probably get this all the time, but it's smaller in person. Okay, we better do this quick. Okay, all right. Hey, everybody. It's me, Kyle the Lawn Mentor, and I'm here with
Simon from Urban Dad Lawn Care.
And as you can tell, Simon is from the southernmost point of Florida due to his accent. So tell us, where did you get that accent from?
Well, I get a lot of, what part of Australia are you from?
Crikey.
So I think I got this Madonna transatlantic twang going on.
Yeah.
But no, I was born in London, grew up in London, travelled around a bit in the UK, and found my way to the US 22 years ago. 22
years. So you were kind of telling me earlier about how you got started with your obsession on grass. Maybe you can share with people.
Yeah, I'll cut the first bit short. I had a dad that was really into lawn care and yard work. I had no interest whatsoever as a child, zero. And I moved over to the US. I had rented property with my wife. We had to take care of the lawn. I bought a lawnmower. I scalped the lawn down to the dirt every 2 weeks, and it was perfect.
Good routine.
It was great. Never threw any fertilizer down.
What's fertilizer?
Well, you don't need it because it was green the 1 week prior to scalping.
That's right.
And it always came back. So that went on for about a year, and then we bought the house that we're in now, and the lawn was bigger. The owner had a service. She used a national company to fertilize.
We won't mention anybody's names here.
No, just a national company.
National.
And she had a company that cut the grass. We bought the house in in the winter, so I didn't get to look at the lawn. When it thawed out in the spring, it's not in great condition. There were bare patches all over the place. It was not good, and it stood out in the neighbourhood. So I started looking into lawn care companies, alternatives to the ones she was using. Didn't really find anybody that I wanted to use, so I started looking into lawn care and educating myself, turf management, and started mowing and fertilising my own lawn. And that was 7 years ago, and it's just grown and grown and grown.
Grown into an obsession.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's one thing, like we talked about back in the day when the internet wasn't around and stuff like that. People who really cared about their lawns, I suppose, were probably like more susceptible to a lot of these like big chains,
Right.
and how they market like a program like, oh, you just need to throw down these 4 bags of fertilizer.
Right.
And that's probably how a lot of people built trust in the marketplace
Right.
on what to use, because you and I both have, you know, people today still are raving about programs that were kind of invented 20, 30 years
Right.
ago, maybe.
Yeah, and I think it exploded, you know, in the last couple of years because of what's going on, where more people are at home spending time out on their lawn. I mean, I spent
Yeah.
a whole summer on my lawn and it's never looked as good. Yeah, it's just a stress relief for me doing my own lawn. I enjoy it. It gets me out in the fresh air. I need a bit more cardio.
Yeah,
It doesn't give me a lot of cardio.
me too.
And I've kind of worked with a lot of people, you know, in my neighbourhood and friends on their lawn. You know, it's a lot of their questions they can't find on YouTube, or, you know, they just don't want to, and they want somebody to, you know, explain to them. And I kind of enjoy helping people. It's...
Do you find that when you explain lawn care to other people that you come in contact with, when you talk about, like, if they have a question, and whether it's really basic or really complex, that if you get them to understand why your answer is the way it is, like, do you find that some people just want not just tell me exactly what fertilizer to put down, I don't care about the rest? And then do you also find people who want to know, like, why should I buy this product?
Yeah, I've come into contact with both. There's some people that I don't care what it does, why it does it. Tell me what I need to buy, when I need to put it down, or you come and do it for me. Mm-hmm. I don't need to know.
Right.
I want green grass. And there's others that, you know, when you start talking to them and explaining to them, you know, what nitrogen does, what phosphorus does, what potassium does to the lawn, they kind of get interested themselves. You know, I got a friend whose lawn that I started for him this year.
Yeah.
The next year he wants to do it himself.
That's awesome.
Because, you know, you kind of start understanding the process.
Yeah.
And it becomes this obsession.
Yeah. I kind of asked because, like, the tagline that I chose to adopt for my channel that I don't really talk about a lot was explaining the why.
Right.
And I feel like when it comes to lawn care, a lot of people think that the barrier to entry is really high, whether it's cost or effort or something, or they just don't have any kind of like personal connection with lawn care. They
Right.
don't care. They don't know why when I buy this specific bag at the store that I could get a result like this, or why when I throw a weed and feed down it doesn't work, or something like that.
Well, you know, even if you look at the professional side of the lawn care business, you know, it's results driven.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're putting stuff on your lawn and it's brown, you're not happy.
Right.
And I think if you understand why behind it, you know, what the products do, then you can make an informed choice of what you want to use, because there's millions of products out there.
Yeah.
And there's not a great deal of difference between the products.
No, a lot of them are the same thing at their core, but I agree. Like, once you understand, I think, the why behind a lot of it, that's what helps build that obsession.
Right.
Because you can buy, for somebody who's never fertilized a lawn and they go buy pretty much any fertilizer off the shelf, put it on their lawn, they're going to get a result.
Right.
But then you get to that point where you're like, man, I want my lawn like super dark green, and maybe you watch some YouTube channels and you're like, oh, I want that. And I've always felt like if people understand the why behind a lot of it.
And that's why you're seeing a lot of my early videos I'm doing, it all starts with a soil test, right?
Yep.
You need to understand, because my lawn's not the same as my neighbour's lawn. There's differences because of what's been going on those lawns over the years.
Sure.
And for instance, my potassium is low,
Yeah.
so I have to add supplemental potassium. My phosphorus is through the roof, so I don't add any phosphorus. But I wouldn't know that unless I did a soil test. So me throwing fertilizer down with phosphorus in it is a waste of time, money, and it's environmentally
not a good choice.
Not a good
you can
choice.
lock other stuff up in your soil too with excessive amounts of stuff. And even when I've explained that to some people, they still are like, I don't want to do a soil test. I don't want to dig crap out of my yard. Can't I just apply something that is just good for everybody's lawn?
And I think we both explain that the same way. Is that it's a waste of time, product, and money.
Yeah, for sure.
Particularly money, right? There's no point. And like I say, phosphorus is environmental factors. That stuff leaches in the waterways. It does all kinds of damage. And and also the more you know, the more you educate yourself, you can start creating your own programs using stuff that is cheaper than store-bought or online-bought fertilizer. But you don't know that until you know your soil.
That's right. Yeah. So let's shift gears. Let's talk about you became obsessed with your own lawn. And at what point did you decide, I need to make a YouTube channel and tell other people about what I've learned and put myself on the internet, really, is the question.
Yeah, so I had a website that I was doing some blogs on. I kind of shut that down for a little bit while I'm redesigning that and doing the YouTube channel. But going back to my early days, I went to art college. So I've always been looking for an outlet, a creative outlet. I do a bit of drawing, bit of painting in my spare time, but that doesn't kind of satisfy it. So I've been watching YouTube for 7 years. That's where I got my early education from.
YouTube University?
Yeah, I've worked my way through all the YouTubers. Started off with Alan, Ryan Knorr, Connor. I've got a pretty broad spectrum. It was just the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And I learned various things from each of those people. They all had their own niche and they all had their own way of explaining stuff. And I was getting a lot of questions. I started an Urban Dad Lawn Care Facebook page. I was getting 5 to 10 messages a day of people, and I was responding to them. And a couple of people said, maybe you should do a YouTube channel. It'd be easier. I'd say, sorry, I didn't get back to you quicker. I've been busy. Yeah. And I think they think that YouTube's a little bit less busy, where it's kind of not. And so I started writing some scripts down, writing some stuff, and I just started the camera one day, and it all started with the Lawn Bright videos. My back lawn, I'm using Lawn Bright products on, and I started videoing some of those. I look back on those, and I'm not embarrassed, but it's like, you didn't know what you were doing back in them days. But yeah, I just wanted to explain to people what I was doing, showing what I was doing, and basically saying, you can do this, everybody can do this, everybody can take charge of their own lawn. Yeah. Whether you want to do it, whether you want to know the science, whether you just want a green lawn, but everybody can do it. Yeah. And it's growing grass, it's not, it's limited, right? Yeah. Grass, you put product on the lawn, grass grows, you cut it, you water it. It's cycle. It's a cycle, and it's just a creative outlet. That's pretty much it.
My story's kind of similar in that I started kind of like caring about my lawn. My wife and I live in our first house right now. And when I bought the house, it was early March. And so, not that I cared about the lawn, but it was covered in snow. And I always enjoyed mowing the lawn as a kid. And so when I bought my first house, I was excited to enjoy that again. But mowing like patches of grass around a yard was not fun for me.
I never mowed a lawn until I was 40 years old.
40 years old. I just got to that point where I was like, I have a couple other neighbors down the street. I don't even know if they're going to watch this, but I have a couple other neighbors down the street. They're older guys, retired, so they can afford to like cut their grass every other day and micromanage it and whatever. And they looked really good compared to what my lawn looked like. And I wanted to enjoy mowing thick green grass and like, there's just something about like overgrown cuts are like terrible for your lawn, but there's a little bit of satisfaction, you know what I mean? Like when you go through something that's like so overgrown and then you see it all leveled off and whatever. And I was like, I really wish I had that. And so late 2019, I talked to my wife, and because it was a little bit of a financial commitment, right? Like I had never spent money on my lawn before. I said, I want to try to do it myself and figure out how to get my lawn fixed. And so, of course, typical homeowner, I went to YouTube, just like you. And I started looking up like how to fix your grass and blah, blah, blah. And I found those same exact people, you know, like Alan Hain. I found Ryan Knorr. Didn't find Connor until later. But I found several people who, like most everybody who watches our videos would know. And Alan in particular had a really captivating way of explaining complex things more simply. And that kind of inspired me because I actually went to college to be a math teacher. I wanted to be a math teacher. And long story short, the teaching part didn't work out because of financial reasons. I ran out of like government money. I have a bunch of student loans. I ran out of the government money, so I finished my degree in just mathematics, and so I now work in IT. And I never have been able to satisfy the desire to teach and like see other people's light bulbs go off in their head. And so I combined that with just like kicking myself in the butt one day and saying, maybe I should do a YouTube channel. Maybe I should satisfy the creative side and also satisfy, and my lawn looked okay. That was the other thing. I got to a point where I was like, okay, I would put my lawn on camera. Just to show people, because it didn't look like a dirt patch.
I have to say though, at that point though, our lawns are not perfect.
No, not at all.
And I think people have to realize that everybody that's on YouTube that shows their lawn care, none of their lawns are perfect.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good if you see that, because stuff happens in the life cycle of a lawn, right? Disease happens.
Oh, absolutely.
Pests happen. We all hide the bad spots in our lawn. I mean, I kind of, when we walk around my lawn today, I was kind of deviating you around from areas I didn't want to look at.
Well, I saw them all. I took notes on everything. But yeah, I edit it into the video and show everybody the bad B-roll later.
But yeah, I think you have to get past this. Hey, not everybody's lawn's perfect.
Yeah.
It's a constant, it's a living thing, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's a huge thing. Like, I admitted to myself that it was going to be more like a documenting style. I do not profess to be like an expert or anything like that, but I was just going to offer my opinion and offer a different spin on topics that everybody talks about. We all talk about the same stuff. Talk about it in a different way that might resonate with somebody, and that's where that like teaching aspect for me came in.
Yeah, and that's understandable. You know, I like the science behind it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've done a few videos where I kind of, it's just a sit down, face me, telling you this is what
lecture style
does,
kind
this
of.
is what it does. But yeah, it's, I think the more appealing is the just seeing somebody out on their lawn and seeing what results they get, right?
Yeah.
Because that's like I said before, it's just a results driven
Satisfying
business, right?
Not to mention some of the people like Ryan on YouTube are like great with cinematography, period. It's just enjoyable to watch it, like, at all. Well, I don't care. His lawn could probably be like dead, and I would probably still watch it.
YouTube's brought another whole, you know, it kind of puts you into now like you're a video editor, so you've got something else you're learning, which is it's a huge learning curve. I mean, I look at some of the early stuff I did, and I try to get fancy with transitions and stuff like that, and now it's just I'm just going to cut it. My last few videos, you'll see I'm just cutting. I'm not doing my fancy cross dissolves or whatever. And that's a huge learning curve, and I'm enjoying that as actually not as much as the lawn care, but
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. Because, that's something, you're striving to do better and better each video. 'Cause,
Oh, yeah.
You look at some of these guys that, I follow some guys on YouTube outside of the lawn care business, and it's like, I watch their videos and it's like watching movies, and it's like, I wish I could edit stuff like that.
Yeah, it's impressive. I definitely find the joy in that too.
But I think you also have to watch as well, because I don't think it's such a diverse demographic that's
Saturated.
into lawn care as well, that not everybody wants to watch a cinematic video, right?
It's true.
Somebody just wants to see you throwing fur on the lawn and what does it do.
Yeah.
But others want to watch, I love watching Ryan's stuff. I love watching, particularly the stuff about his new house, his new property.
Yeah.
It's so cool watching that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives you ideas of trying to think outside the box. And like you said, it's a very saturated market, so to try and stand out is difficult.
I felt like I just started to think about that, and it was kind of one of I had several things in my mind that were like stopping me from doing a YouTube channel. Right. And one of them was like, there's already so many people out here. Mm-hmm. I watch them all. Right. I practically don't watch TV. I watch YouTube all the time. And I was like, man, if I just like throw my hat in the ring, like what are people gonna do? And I finally just decided I'm just gonna be myself, and maybe people will like what I do, and maybe people will enjoy that little time of hanging out.
So I say I'm very, very early into my YouTube career, but I give kudos to anybody that does it.
Yeah.
It's way harder than anybody makes it appear. And everybody has insecurities. You start seeing yourself on video and I wish I didn't do that, I wish I didn't say that. You know what? It's just I've learned in life that you just go ahead and do it and don't really care. You're going to get negative comments from everybody.
I'm obviously a very fit and skinny person.
I've worked on this.
That was not any of my insecurities.
This is all paid for.
Yeah, I can tell. Tell.
I've been working out.
And I'll give kudos to Alan, because there were right around the time when I was thinking about starting my YouTube channel. He did a video, and I can't remember which one it was, but he talked about like the fact that he put on some weight during COVID, and that he was going to work on it. And he started like making fun of himself. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? This guy has like 250,000 followers, and he knows that like I put on a little bit of weight or whatever, and he's willing to like call that out in front of all these people. I was like, all right, fine. No excuses.
And I think that's also part of the learning curve of YouTube, right? I think if you look at anybody's early videos, mine in particular, I'm sitting there, it's not me. I watch their videos and it's not me, and that's something I've been working on the last couple of videos, trying to interject some of my personality into them, because I know from my own personal view, I watch videos like that and I'm switching off. And I really don't care about what the content
I definitely agree.
You have to personalize it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get people that don't like your personality, so.
And they don't subscribe, and that's okay. Yeah. But at least hit the like button on the way out. No, I'm just kidding. Get my analytics up.
I think a whole lot of us don't go into YouTube as it being a career.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a creative outlet. I just want to share my experiences with people. Yeah. And if I can pass on any knowledge in a way that somebody finds it easy to understand, then I did what I set out to do.
I had a recent comment on one of my videos that I actually pinned on the video. I don't remember who it was, and I don't even think their screen name or whatever was like a name. Mm-hmm. But they gave me a compliment and said that they really appreciated the way that I explained some topic and made it really approachable for them, and they appreciated that it was genuine and stuff. And that's the kind of interaction with the community that makes me go like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this. I
get a few people, normally the same people will comment on my videos. And Keith, Striper Man, I'll give him a shout out, commented on one of my recent videos, and it kind of blew me away what he said. You can have a look at the comment on there. And it was kind of, you know what, it kind of justified what I'm doing. And, it's one of them comments you can keep, and when you have a crappy day, it's kind of, Paul, somebody said that about my channel, so I'll keep going. And it's that engagement's nice. I mean, that's kind of, I think, for a big percentage of us, that's why we do it.
Yeah.
To get that engagement, because the community as a whole is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I started like caring about my lawn at the end of like 2019, and it was like the tail end of the season. Just went through like rough summer. The lawn looked like crap, and I was like, I gotta fix this, and then realized like, oh boy, I'm too late. So I basically binged all of YouTube lawn care videos over the winter, and then come 2020, COVID, right?
Right.
So I'm like, well, I have nothing to do. I'm at home. I work from home. I'm just gonna obsess about the lawn, and I documented like all of it. I used the Yardmaster app because that's just about when it came out. I was looking for an app anyways, and they came out with that, and I was like, I could document that. I took pictures. Like I went through a whole season, and the pictures were awesome. And then at the end of the season, and they weren't awesome because I edited them. I made a lot of strides, and I've shared that on the channel. But I put like an album on my personal Facebook page of here's what I did over COVID, because everybody was doing that. Like, oh yeah, I learned woodworking or something, and people were like, oh my goodness, your lawn looks really good. How'd you do this? Blah blah blah. And that was another motivator for like, maybe I should do a YouTube channel and share with people.
I kind of wish that I'd have started last summer, because that was. I was in a position where I was at home the whole of that summer. I mean, I have been this one as well, but that summer I didn't have all the fungus and the disease I had this summer.
Yeah.
Last year was probably the best my lawn's ever looked.
I would say the same.
I got a handle on it, but again, because of COVID, I was literally on my lawn every day.
Yeah.
For 8 hours a day, and I micromanaged that thing beyond belief, and there wasn't a blade of grass out of place. There was no fungus. There was no pests on it.
Yeah.
And it was good. And I wish I'd have kind of filmed that, but
the weather here has just been like way different than last year.
Yeah.
And I did not have a strong fungicide game, and I did not have a strong insecticide game, and I paid the price for it. And the weather did not help that.
I've never really had a bulletproof program.
Yeah.
In either for insects or for disease, never. And it's always been a case of I'm always playing catch up with those two. And that's something that I kind of started really looking into in the last couple of months. Particularly, I got hit really bad with brown patch and dollar spot on the back lawn. It got hit hard, and I was fighting it all year. I'm running organic, natural products on that back lawn, so I'm not putting anything down. So it was even harder. The front I managed, and it was just the normal stuff. I'd go out and buy Disease X or the Bayer stuff and just spray it afterwards. I really didn't have a preventative.
Yes.
Which, when I look back on, all this other stuff you research for lawns, and you really are lacking in that area.
It's reactive.
Yeah, it's reactive, and I'm a quality engineer by trade. Being reactive is not good.
Right.
Far better being proactive. So I've done a lot of research, and that I'm going to be doing a lot of my videos coming. In the next year are going to be on preventative, because it can just destroy a lawn. I sent you a picture the other day when I thought I had army worms in my lawn. I was mowing the grass, and I see one crawl. I see something crawl from my neighbour's lawn, and I stopped and I picked this thing up, and I went, oh, I hope that's not an army worm. And I look at my lawn, and there is no sign of heavy
no major
eating.
damage.
So I went out to Home Depot, bought some Spectracide, to Triazazide, I think it's called, just sprayed that on the lawn. It's just I need it. They're not getting my lawn. Yeah. And we've been hit really hard with army worms in Michigan this year, which I was reading some articles. It's like an explosion this year. I've never seen any. I didn't really know what an army worm was.
No, me either. I was just like grubs. It must be grubs.
It's not a white grub, so it must be
green grub.
And it's like the other morning. So I sprayed and walked out the other morning. There's like 5 of them lying on the top. They were dead, and I'm thinking. So I start looking, and it ends up they're cutworms. Same thing.
Same class.
Pest. Not as destructive, but next year I definitely need to have some kind of program in place that's preventative rather.
That's been one of my biggest takeaways. Some of my most popular
videos on my channel have been about fungicides because I think everybody struggled with it this year. We had a very warm, wet year. Even Chris in Southern California, same thing. He said he got hit with fungicide. But yeah, upping my game on preventative insecticide and fungicide is definitely on my docket for next year.
Looking at the pesticide and herbicides, I think we still need to be responsible. I think it's a very grey area. You know, if you talk to turf professionals, that's a lot. They have a kind of an issue with the homeowners giving advice on those kind of products. So it is a really grey area because there's severe environmental factors.
Yeah, definitely.
Health-wise as well, spraying that kind of stuff around, you need to use PPE and stuff like that. So before I start putting that kind of stuff on my channel, I need to figure out how I'm going to get that across, because you can't be irresponsible with that stuff.
Not to mention the trolls.
And the lawn care industry in general gets a real bad rap because of stuff like that. They're kind of the whipping boy for the whole turf industry.
Yeah.
It's the homeowners. They're the ones that are spraying all this kind of stuff without any regard to
dumping
anything.
stuff down the sewers and whatever.
So it's a very controversial subject.
Yeah.
And you need to know what you're talking about before you
start. Yeah, definitely. Issue of responsibility for sure.
Read the labels.
That is one of the biggest things. Professional grade products are more accessible to homeowners now because of e-commerce.
Right.
And there are just people who are seeing that homeowners will buy them. I don't think the days of just go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's and buy something are the most effective anymore. Everybody wants stuff delivered to their house anyways.
We have an Amazon truck here practically every day.
Yeah,
I mean, it's...
And you can buy FERT on Amazon. You can buy... I bought actually all the weed control triclopyr that I bought this year was delivered by Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, these products are way more accessible now.
Yeah.
You go search online and you find them.
Yeah.
And that goes for professional grade products as well. But like I said, you just have to be careful when you apply that kind of stuff. You need to know what you're doing. I mean, it's not like, to a certain degree, it's not like buying stuff from Home Depot and spraying it on your lawn. But even that stuff can be dangerous if it's applied incorrectly.
Yeah. So what would you say is the biggest change about your core program or whatever to your lawn that's going to change next year?
So I've been using easily accessible products. I've been using those products for the last 4 years, consistently on my lawn. I have a liquid program. I really don't use granular. I use SLP to supplement my potassium. I don't have anything with phosphorus. My phosphorus is through the roof. So I saw these products online. I saw multiple people using them. I saw them having results. So I made a decision myself that I would try those products. I'm the kind of person that I'll try something. If it doesn't work, I won't use it anymore. And I definitely saw results from the products I was using.
Yeah.
And I've recommended those products to people that I know, and they've used those products on their lawns and they get the same results. I kind of need a step beyond that now for myself as part of my growth in lawn care. In conjunction with my soil test to confirm what my suspicions are on my lawn for next year. My pH has always been mid-range 7s. I've been using elemental sulfur the last couple of years to try and knock it down. Haven't seen that much of an impact on it. And I've been using some water-soluble ammonium sulfate, using some citric acid on a soil and a lawn that has similar pH to mine. I've seen it starting to drop a little bit, not drastically, but pH is not going to change overnight.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be looking at doing a liquid program still, but using ammonium sulfate definitely. Whether I'm going to spoon feed that or monthly, I don't know yet. I like spraying, so it's probably going to be
Yeah.
spoon feeding. But I'm not going to go away from some of the products I use.
Sure.
I use the biostimulant pack. I have done.
Yeah.
I've not seen any adverse reactions on my lawn, so
Yeah, for sure.
I'll continue using those.
So probably like could sum it up and say being more choosy about the source of macronutrients
Yeah.
in your
At the end of
program.
the day, the lawn is fed, right, with nitrogen,
Right.
phosphorus, and potassium. They all have their own what they do to your lawn.
Sure.
And if you have an excess of one or other, then you don't need it. Nitrogen's always going to be something you put down your lawn, right? Because it's the macronutrient that's used more frequently and in greater quantities than any of the other. But if you have a high phosphorus reading on your lawn, there's no point putting phosphorus down.
Right.
And you know, I practically have bagged every mow this year.
Mm-hmm.
Potassium, you know, you can supplement that. So you can break down the fertilizer. You know, when you see an analysis on a bag of fertilizer, right, you can break that down into the three, okay? And then you can figure out, I don't need this, I need nitrogen, so I need a nitrogen source. Right? So I may even go, I've been dabbling with ammonium sulfate and urea as well. So combining both of those in a soluble, and then supplementing the potassium with SOP. So it's pretty simple. It's pretty basic.
Yeah.
And I'm going to source those from wherever I can get them from. So I'm not drastically changing the makeup of the liquid that I've been using.
Yeah.
I'm just mixing it myself.
Right.
And I think that's just like a natural progression,
Sure.
right? Some people might be happy with just, you know, I'll just buy that bottle and I'll just keep using it because it works. I just need to go beyond that for myself, and I've got the knowledge now that, you know, I'm going to make up my own
Yeah.
sources. Of
And it's not because of
macronutrients.
hard feelings, right? I mean, it's just because you get to that point of the obsession where you're just like, man,
No,
I
I'm
want to
never
go to
gonna-
another level.
I'm never going to forget that I learned what I learned from certain people.
Yeah.
And I learned to take that knowledge and grow with it.
Right.
And that's not a bad thing.
Right.
But it's also no need to forget where you learn
Sure.
stuff from.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, so it'll be all liquid. I'm not a big granular person. I don't know. I like being out on the lawn. So.
Yeah. Like spraying.
Yeah, I've got my push sprayer. I've got hose ends. I actually prefer the hose end, to be quite honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Ortho?
No, I don't use. I use. So I normally just use.
Okay,
The
so
ones are at the back.
so you.
Yeah, I'll just save these things
Yeah.
and reuse them.
Right.
They work. I'm natural progression like everybody else. I'll go out and buy an ortho. I must have thrown 3 of them at the garage.
Because they got
they're
clogged
clogged.
up. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I bought like the chaping one.
Mm-hmm.
That lasted.
The chameleon. Did you have the chameleon?
Yeah, I think that's one
Yeah.
of my up there.
Yeah.
That lasted like a day.
Right.
And that got tossed. And then I bought another chaping one. It was like, this one's got all metal fittings on it.
Yeah.
That lasted about 2 weeks. And it just, these things just, you can even buy these on Amazon.
Right. Empty jugs. Yeah.
Right? And they work perfect.
Yeah.
I actually like pre-mixing them. Right, and
Oh, yeah, you
mix
could have like a
everything
batch
in,
ready.
And I'll just go out and
Yeah.
like, this week I'm going to spray this week I'm going to spray
That's
this.
a great idea.
And I find out, I've got the backpack sprayer. I
Yeah.
use that thing for weeds. I normally just fill that up with whatever I'm using, spraying, just spot spraying.
Yeah.
Or I use it to fertilise my plants in the flower beds. I bought that just, I wanted a backpack sprayer of sorts.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good value, but I don't use that a lot. But yeah, I just find those way easier.
Yeah.
I bought like the fancy hose end sprayers, and it's just, they're not worth it. They clog. We all know they clog.
Yeah.
And these don't. I like them. They're easier. It's like the Lawn Bright products I use on the back lawn. They all come in those.
Right.
And they come with 2 different nozzles.
Simple
you know,
lawn solutions.
Yeah, and they're great. I mean, that's those products are really good. You know, simple lawn solutions. I love that stuff. I use a few of this. I don't use a lot of them, but I'll use various products on the lawn when I need to. And yeah, it's great. Just hook it up to the hose, spray. You're done. And it's that easy. It's really that easy.
Yeah, most people I think don't realize that you can have a great looking lawn. My father-in-law is a perfect example. Like I got him into it. They bought a new house up here. They moved actually from Pennsylvania to Michigan. Bought the house. Said, I saw how good you got your lawn to look. Can you give me some pointers? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we got him a soil test, got that done, and then just matched it up to a granular fert that makes sense. And it was a granular that has some. People have seen it on my channel. It's the Yard Mastery Starter Fert.
Right.
That's all he's used, and then maybe like weed killers here and there. And his lawn looks great. I mowed it in one of my videos, and like it was doing great. And he's also ready to go to like that next level. So I'm curious to see what I want to do.
I think you just get that bug, right? When you start seeing it standing out.
Yeah.
And I love this time of year, particularly with Halloween coming up.
Yep.
You know, my name's Simon, and I have a iron
Addiction.
Yeah.
I'm an iron addict.
No, I love getting my lawn dark for Halloween.
Yeah.
They can't walk on my lawn, though. I have to sit out on the porch.
Isn't that what's funny?
Halloween. I mean, you know, it's the end of the year, end of the season. I like it looking nice and dark, and you know, I don't care if they trample on it in Halloween.
Yeah.
It's going into dormancy real quick.
Yeah, that's the funny
part
part
it
about
does hurt. It does hurt.
Yeah.
It does hurt when you see them kids running all over it.
It's like I want to get my lawn.
Right here.
And here in Michigan, right? Like it gets
tearing
dark.
up right now, just thinking about all them kids walking on my lawn.
We put all this work into it, and then we're like, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Just look at it.
So that's a story for my back lawn, right? So my front lawn, I cut it at 2.25 inches. I used to cut long, and that lawn never liked being cut. You know, again, that's the natural progression, right? Everyone tells you cut predominantly fescue on that lawn, cut it 4 inches.
Or more.
Three, raise it in the summer, right? So I did that, constantly get fungus out there, and I pretty certain it was because of the length. You know, it would lay over, it would never stand properly.
Yeah.
You know, we all see these great fescue lawns where this stuff's like upright. My lawn doesn't do that. It doesn't stand upright at 4 inches.
Yeah.
So if I could get a lawn like Pete's from GCI at that height,
He could cut it like 12 inches.
I would cut it. Yeah, that thing just stands up. If I could get that, that lawn would be that high. So I kept taking my height cut down, and it's at like 2.25 now, and it loves. That's like the optimum. I've been up a little bit, even like 2.75. It starts. It doesn't
just
like
laying
it, so
over a little bit.
But I also took that down to 1 inch in the summer with a real mower, and it liked it as well. So that's all like that experimentation with your own lawn. You're out on it. I mean, you know. My wife said, "You're going to cut that right down to 1 inch. Yeah, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's going to grow again. You know, and that's part of the fun as well.
Yeah.
You can experiment on your lawn. But yeah, that was grown a long way around. But that's why I started real mowing my back lawn at 1 inch end of last year, because you know my daughter plays on it a lot, and it was breaking my heart watching it all get torn up and the stripes. You know, that back lawn used to stripe beautiful, better than the front lawn.
Hey, it doesn't look
and
too
I
bad.
used to let that grow to like 3, and it loved it. But it was so hard work, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say to her, don't run on it, because it was getting to that point where I was going, don't go on the lawn, just walk that way round, and don't throw that, don't jump on it. So you know what? I'm going to cut that thing down to 1 inch, and that's perfect, because now she can run all over it, and you know you kind of get that short grass addiction. I kind of been wanting to. I don't know if real mowing's on the horizon, like.
I told you I just bought a real
gas
mower.
Powered. I mean, I got the Fiskars, and I got the earth wires around that I cut the back with, and I love it. I mean, it's like so. It's high maintenance, but low maintenance, because you know she can run around in it all day, and it doesn't do any damage to it whatsoever. And I noticed as well, I had a real vole problem in the back. If you've ever had voles, death is the only way to get rid of them.
Smoke them.
Yeah, no, the castor oil don't work. The sonic stuff don't work. Poison works.
Antifreeze in tuna cans or something?
No, I wasn't.
That's for cats.
I was no. I wrapped mouse traps and peanut butter right across the hole. So, yeah, I had a problem, and since I cut it short,
They're going away.
they're
huh?
gone. So I don't know. They moved into my neighbours.
Oh.
He told me, man, I got these things.
Oh.
What's this? I went,
Would you bait them over
I
there?
went, that's voles.
I know that guy. I know that vole.
No, that destroyed my lawn one year.
Yeah.
That's cut grass short in this time of year going into winter because they would tunnel underneath the snow.
Yeah.
And
I
they
think
like that-
actually
they like-
Ryan had an issue
they
with
like
that.
they like that top grass because they're
Yeah.
literally right underneath.
Yeah.
If you've ever had them, they're literally like I'd step down a hole and it would just start killing the grass.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons as well I bordered that back lawn with brick, with stone, to try and stop them digging in. But yeah, shortcut in the back works.
Sweet.
I kind of reversed it. I know a lot of them do the short grass in the
Yeah.
front and longer in the back. I kind of.
It's like a you
I
got
got
like
my mullet in the front.
Yeah, you got a reverse mullet going. Oh, well, you got to show the lawn, right? Don't you want to show the lawn? Off?
Yeah.
It's sunny now too.
The sun's come out. Yeah, we never.
So why don't we transition outside?
Yeah, sounds good. So this is the back lawn. This one's been cut at 1 inch. I managed to get it down after overseeding. This is predominantly Kentucky bluegrass, perennial rye. There is some fine fescue in there, and if you look hard enough, there is some turf type tall fescue. I predominantly, like I said before, cut this short so my daughter can run around on it without me having to worry about it. The only products I used on this lawn last year are Lawn Bright. It's had nothing else. And I'm pretty impressed with it. Like I said in a video I did about it, a recap a few weeks back, I was really skeptical because particularly for their weed pre-emergent, because it's corn gluten based. Don't know what it's been like by you, but the weed pressure has been really high this summer around here.
It seems like the weeds came out all at one time really fast, as opposed to
Yeah.
like a gradual buildup where you're
So
like,
I was
oh.
really worried. I mean, they give you multiple bottles of it because the only drawback with that is when it gets wet, when it rains, it starts becoming ineffective. But I've not seen any real increase. And let's show the bad patch. Don't ever use bugleweed as a ground cover near your lawn because it will shoot runners out and you will get this in your lawn.
You heard it here first, folks. Don't use bugleweed.
So
no matter how loud you want to toot your horn.
Yeah, I've been working on this patch. And then, so this was overseeded with Baron Brew Turf Blue Pro with RPR this year for the first time. I wanted to try and make it a bit more durable.
Yeah.
I got hit hard with disease out here. I'm not going to blame Lawn Bright for that. I'm going to look at an organic, natural fungicide for next year for out here because I'd like to continue the organic theme out here.
Yeah. Real organic stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask about it. A lot of people have a big desire
Right.
to stay organic, whether it's for their kids or dogs or whatever, and there's not a ton out there.
It's been really cool, actually, just getting, because you get the products from Lawn Bright, it's like every 6 to 8 weeks, 4 to 8 weeks, something like that. Depends what time of the year. They send them to you, and it's literally, they tell you when to spray it, like end of May, mid-May, and I just come out here, hook the hose up, literally takes me 10 minutes and I'm done. It's like I'm not obsessing over it, and then I can throw some time into the other lawn.
But you get great results.
Yeah.
This is something I have never seen before. This is a real mower. It's not fake, it's real. And it's
Like I
got
said, I'm not
the
going to
strike
take
it
the
on
credit
it.
for it because Keith Striper, man, he's been making these modifications on real mowers for a long time. When I do my Fiskars over the winter, when I do the upgrade, I'm going to pay kind of a little homage to him. I already reached out to him to make sure he was all right with it because that's another channel that he doesn't do a lot of content, but the stuff he does, I've watched that, and for lawn striping, he's the OG. He's the original gangster. Yeah. And you see some of the striping, some of the stuff he did with his lawn, with these manual reel mowers, and like the Fiskars.
Yeah.
It's unreal. He upgraded to a good British lawnmower. Now the Outlet.
Aston Martin lawnmower.
Yeah, he upgraded to the outlet, but yeah, he's still the OG, dude. Yeah, no, I'm not going to take any credit for that.
It's a cool setup.
He was one of the first. Yeah, it was, you know, it wasn't by design. It was actually, I'll let it into a secret. I damaged my Toro Super Recycler with the big league striper one day.
Oh no!
It's one of the disadvantages of having an aluminum deck.
Aluminium, don't you mean?
Yeah.
So
So when I
that-
first
that-
moved over here, because I was a machinist,
Yeah.
automotive manufacturing, and I'd never heard.
Aluminum.
No, I'd never heard that before.
That word?
I worked in a shop for 2 months thinking that was a different metal when I had to
Than
ask somebody.
aluminium?
Yeah, I went, aluminum, is that the same as aluminium?
Aluminum.
They went, yeah.
Kind of sounds similar.
Yeah.
It's got the same symbol on the periodic table.
Yeah, so yeah, I used to have that on my Super Recycler, and I had it set or bolted up, and I had a clevis pin set up
Yeah.
where I'd take it off,
Yep.
so it was easy, and I used to like push the bars that were hanging down up, and I'd zip tie them. One day I got lazy. Thought, I'll push them up and it'd be okay. I was mowing the lawn, I went backwards, the thing dropped down, and as it dropped down, it dug into the dirt and just snapped the eye hole.
Oh.
I was putting them through the where the debris flap
Yes.
hangs on the back,
Yeah.
and it just tore that hole
It's
out.
pretty thin metal there. I think it
Yeah.
just held on with screws, right? So.
Yeah, so I had to JB weld
Oh yeah.
it back on, and because of how it, the aluminum where it pulled it wasn't back in the same spot, so I couldn't put that on it because it was off kilter. I tried a couple of times. JB weld will last about half a lawn before it rips off again. So I thought, you know what, I spent the money, I had it laying around, so I thought I'd put that on it. And I made the PVC piping for the Super Recycler. It was like $10, and it zip ties to the flap.
Yeah.
And
you get stripes.
I get stripes. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been mowing this with. Our upgrade. I've got some plans for the Fisker to modify that this year, and we'll be rolling that out.
Well, thanks for letting me come over.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's been good to
I'll come
see
visit
your
you next
lawn.
time.
Yeah. Been good to get to know you. I hope everybody else enjoys getting to know you a little bit more too.
Until next time.
Until next time, yeah, do your tagline thing.
What is my tagline?
I'm Simon from Evan Dad Lawn Care. Thanks for tuning in.
Until next time, enjoy your time on the lawn.
See you later.